Thank you very much. So I've been a Christian for about, there we go. I've been a Christian for about 3 years now. I grew up in a Christian home, but I never really made my faith my own. I just kind of followed along, went to church, did Awana, which is a Bible club, and but it wasn't until about 3 years ago that the Lord kind of took hold of me and started taking my faith seriously. So I've been a part of a youth group at another church, and they had what they called discipleship groups. And so I said, oh, great. So I started getting involved there, and this was before, at least to become public at our church, they were doing these discipleship triads and quads. And it was quite different than this. There was no emphasis on multiplication at all. It wasn't about making disciples. It was about you being discipled, and that was it. It was very information-driven, and, we'd go through books, and it was good to learn, but that was about where it ended. So when I was talked to by Faye and got into contact with a good friend of mine, and we started our triad and our quad, it was definitely a huge difference that I noticed. And we were able to actually really grow in our relationship with each other. We were able to get to know each other better, be able to be transparent, to be able to be held accountable by each other. And that was something that I hadn't experienced in the other groups where we had, 8 to 12 girls, and, so there isn't a lot of closeness there. And also, like they've been talking about, you don't have to do it, very quickly. I mean, we've been doing this for about a year now. We're on lesson 9, and that's something that you kind of encounter, certain problems with doing it with youth, but there's solutions to that. I mean, we have school going on. We all have jobs now, and so we're trying to work around schedules, but we've still been able to make it work, and meet as regularly as possible and still be able to get through the curriculum as well and grow in our relationship. So another thing that we encountered was, and it's kind of more with youth, is just not being able to understand the wording a little bit. My friend of mine, she hasn't read a lot of books about the Bible, and so some of the terminology was unfamiliar to her. But it was a great learning experience, because when you have an adult leader, that's when it's important to have different age groups, because they can teach you and help you to understand. And then because this is basic doctrine, then when you go to read other books that are kind of going to be growing out of this, then she will be able to understand those words and be able to grow from there. So, and also, if you wanted to, you could almost do the lessons as a group, actually discuss the questions together and what they mean if you encounter this problem, and then be able to, go off, break off, answer the questions, and then come back together and discuss them if you wanted to do that. But overall, it's a great thing for youth. It gets them involved in a good group of Christians, gets them good influences, and helps them to strengthen their faith. And then, now I'm going to be going off to college, and I can start quads in college, and also in the Christian club I have on campus at my school. It's going to be great to get the leaders involved and be able to equip them to take over for me when I leave for college next year. And overall, it's been a great experience. So I definitely recommend it for all of you to have for your youth as well.